Good evening and welcome to the hotspot from wherever you are tuned in. It's another day, the 2nd of July, back again live with some big breaking update concerning the biggest football club in the world. Now, Onana's move to United seems to be hitting a deadlock. David De Gea is destined to reunite with Cristiano Ronaldo, whereas Fred or Scott McTominay, who should Manchester United get rid of first? Well, that's the debate, that's the talk. Those are the updates we are going to be looking at. Subscribe to the hotspot. My name is Webb, and I'm hoping you're having a great Sunday. It should be a great Sunday afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on wherever you are. I hope it's worth it. It's exciting. It's been amazing. Well, since morning, there's been news developing, and of course, I've been following it for you, and here I am to give it to you. But of course, starting with these two, of course, as they say, one man's meat is another man's poison. Now, whereas Manchester United are frustrating the goalkeeper out of David De Gea, trying to make way for Andre Onana, a Saudi Arabian club, that is Al Hilal, is focused on trying to ensure they snatch him and reunite him with Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, these are reports that are coming through from Saudi Arabia. They are so serious on talking to him now that they know that David De Gea is a free agent. They do want to give him a £250,000 per week contract for him to put pen to paper to their side. Now, this is the latest that is just coming through. It's so serious. So, whereas Manchester United have been waiting to hold talks with him after his wedding with the now wife, Eduard de Garcia, David De Gea might be pushed to go as far as Saudi and reunite with Cristiano Ronaldo. That is at of course, that big Saudi club that finished second in the Saudi Pro League. But also a big update concerning Andre Onana's situation. There seems to be a deadlock, according to the Gazzetta dello Sport from Italy. A news source, a credible news source from Italy, has just come out and broken it that the deadlock is concerning the valuation of the player, as the two parties, that is Inter Milan and Manchester United, have different valuation of Andre Onana. Now, as it is, United value Onana at about £43 million, like we've been saying here, whereas Inter Milan are saying they are hoping to get 51, in the region of £51 million. But the good news is that these two parties have agreed that they can meet halfway. They can meet somewhere halfway in terms of trying to sign Andre Onana. So again, the deal could still be on, because there is room for compromise, both sides compromising, so that they meet somewhere halfway and ensure that a move is seen through, because Manchester United are seriously in the hunt for a goalkeeper, as David De Gea looks to be increasingly destined to leave. But just for those of you who want David De Gea to stay, maybe what could give you hope is the fact that the girlfriend seems to be happy in the UK, or the wife now. Why do I keep calling her girlfriend? The wife seems to be happy in the UK, and that is why, and women have got a huge influence on the decisions men make. So that could be the only chance for Manchester United to convince David De Gea. Probably they would want now to talk to Mrs. De Gea to convince the husband to take the pay cut, £150,000 per week, to become number 2 at United and leave and shun the £250,000 that Al Hilal, the Cristiano Ronaldo team, is willing to pay him. So it's going to be difficult, but that's where Manchester United seems to be headed. Now, still talking Manchester United, we told you that what has been slowing movements and bids a bit has been the lack of cash. Now, there is talk that Fred and Scott McTominay have got some interest. There are some clubs interested. West Ham has consistently been interested in Scott McTominay, but yet while Fred has attracted the attention of Fulham. But as it looks, according to reports that just came through, apparently Manchester United don't want to sell Scott McTominay, because somehow he's young and he's an academy boy. They just don't want to get rid of him like that. Now, these are reports that just came through. They are quite heartbreaking. If a player is not good enough, why are you keeping him because he's young? Well, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Fred, in fact, if it were upon me, between Fred and Scott McTominay, if we are supposed to let go of one, for me, I think Scott McTominay should be leaving first. Never mind him being younger. I think he should be leaving first, because Fred has enjoyed more playing time than him. He's more mature. He can be a proper, more decent backup to Casemiro than Scott McTominay can be, because United are not buying a central midfielder. So certainly a backup in Fred is a better option than Scott McTominay. But according to reports, United are saying we are not letting go of our academy kid. He's young. He's got a good future ahead of him. Yet teams like West Ham are interested. Spurs have been flattering him as well. So that's where we are. United wanting to sell players, but they don't want, if you know what I mean. Still talking United, Jadon Sancho has been, of course, hinted about a possible on move to Borussia Dortmund, the team he came from 2 years ago for 73 million pounds. Wants to take him back, but they don't want to pay. United are hoping they can go into talks with Borussia Dortmund so that they pay some money if they're going to take him back, because what United needs now is money. Remember, he was put up for sale for a reported 45 million pounds. Now that's where they are. But what exactly is going to happen? We are still following all stories as they do come. Again, here on the hotspot. My name is Webb. I do remind you to subscribe if you haven't and turn on your notifications. Guys, many of you hit that number and in my inbox asking me for stories left, right and center every minute, which is okay. I'm not complaining. That's why I'm here. It's what I'm here for. But it is better if you subscribe, turn on your notification, and get all the updates here as they do come, because by the time I come live, I've prepared for you to give you the latest with credible sources. Now, speaking of credible sources, now there are sources, as you can read in the scrolling down there on your screen, there are sources that suggest that Atalanta have found the right man to replace Rasmus Højlund. So this is a sign for Manchester United that perhaps sooner rather than later, Rasmus Højlund will be joining Man United, because Atalanta have already handpicked their replacement for Højlund, and he's a player, and surprisingly so, from Coventry. His name is Victor Gyökeres. That's the player Atalanta focused on to come through and replace Rasmus Højlund, who looks to be destined to cross to Manchester United. I did tell you that a bid was put in, whereas it was not publicized, but of course with our sources we got the links and here and there. United have placed bids for Højlund. I think 2 of them. They have both been rejected by Atalanta, and the last bid was about 31 million pounds. It was rejected, but Atalanta is hoping they can get close to 40 million pounds for the player. That's where we at right now when it comes to Højlund. But the truth is, United are so interested in Højlund, they are hoping they can go ahead and convince Atalanta to surrender him to the Red Devils. Of course, when I put on this kit, this jersey, you know, I'm in a historic mood. Well, history has said that United does not really do a lot of business when it comes to June or the summer transfer window, but mostly in June. June is behind us, so maybe now, historically, this is when United should be going, out and out to try and sign players. And of course, we are hoping that some will do come in now. Of course, like I said, the latest is a bit of, a setback concerning that man, that is Andre Onana. But we do believe Inter Milan and Man United can meet halfway, because the will is there, and like they say, where there is a will, there is a way. The two parties have met several times from the past weeks. They have agreed. They want the player. Inter is waiting for the first bid from Manchester United. It is believed that starting tomorrow, probably tomorrow, the bid should be in. United are serious on signing Andre Onana. That's where Manchester United is. David De Gea, who got done with his wedding, is still there. And not sure what he's going to do, whether he's going to come back and try to hold talks to stay. But United are also being seriously linked to a goalkeeper, and even Sky has come out to sort of hint on this. United are interested in Justin Biglow, that is the goalkeeper from Feyenoord, who they feel, in the event that David De Gea is not convinced to stay, they might be signing 2, and Biglow is just one of those. Of course, Onana is a given. If they agree with Inter Milan, Onana is a given. But Biglow could be coming in as number 2 in the event that David De Gea does not choose to stick around and stay as a number 2 as Manchester United. Guys, go on and subscribe and drop your questions, your comment in the comment section. Let's get them as we do continue to look at the news this weekend, this Sunday, concerning Manchester United. I do remind you, in case you've forgotten, let me even put him off your screen. David De Gea, like you see him waving there, he is no longer Manchester United goalkeeper, so forget about him. Andre Onana is the guy, and of course Inter Milan are hoping they can get some serious money out of him. Remember, Onana is, I think, Inter Milan's best bet to get some serious money. If you look at the players they have right now, certainly they want to buy players. They do want to get Romelu Lukaku on loan, maybe perhaps even buy him. They made a funny bid of £7 million for him, which Chelsea rejected. Inter Milan needs money. They don't have money. So United have got to cash in on him. But the point is they have got to move so fast. Don't you mind the distractions? What? There's some construction going on outside here around me, but don't you mind. We can't focus on the football. But yeah, so that's the whole situation going on with Manchester United and Inter Milan. The reality is that Onana is seriously wanted and the bid will be registered sooner rather than later. The only issue is that the two clubs have got to meet halfway. Inter Milan are holding out for about £51 million. United are saying we are giving you 43 plus add-ons now. That's where they are. But that's not a huge difference, and given the fact that United badly need Onana, certainly they will meet halfway and sign. But when it comes to the selling of players, Fred, apparently valued at £20 million, has been wanted by Fulham. United are saying we are cashing in on Fred, whereas for Scott McTominay, whereas there are clubs that could be interested, they are being a bit slow on him. They are saying because he's an academic kid, they can want to hold on a bit before they can proceed to cash in on him. What do you think, Fred or Scott McTominay? If it were upon you, who should be leaving first? Joseph Ogbodo, I see you. He's saying, hello, Joseph. How are you? I'm hoping you're having a good Sunday. There's some hot news, of course, coming through concerning Manchester United. The deadlock that United seem to be hitting is the fact that the valuation of Andre Onana by Inter Milan is quite high compared to what United has. And also, bear in mind that Manchester United doesn't have a lot of money to spend. They have got unassured £120 million. If they are going to top up on that, they have got to sell players. Question is, they have got Fred now, who has attracted the attention of Fulham. They don't have a backup plan for Caicedo. They do want to cash in on Fred before cashing out on Scott McTominay. What's the problem? What do you think? Is that right? Give me your opinion about that. Joseph, I see you. Ogbodu, from wherever you are. I do see you. Many thanks, of course, for coming through and tuning into the hotspot as we keep burning you with the hottest news concerning Manchester United. Well, of course, I came quickly because this update just came through earlier, but I also told you, in case you're just joining, that Atalanta are already handpicking. They have handpicked their man to come and replace their number 9. That is Rasmus Højlund. They have picked a boy from Coventry. His name is Victor Gyökeres. That's the player they are looking at to replace Rasmus Højlund. That should be a sign that Højlund should be Old Trafford bound. Not so. Perhaps sooner than later, like I've been telling you, United have been planning this bid, but they want to go systematically, one after the other. Mason Mount is done, Onana done, get a striker, and of course, everything else will fall in place after that. So that's the plan for Manchester United. For David De Gea, Cristiano Ronaldo's team is so interested in taking him back. There is a possible reunion between David De Gea and Cristiano Ronaldo. That is at Al Hilal in Saudi Pro League. They finished second the last season. Al Hilal is willing to pay £250,000, £75,000 per week. He's still there. He's a newly wedded man. He's a married man. Certainly, the responsibilities of marriage are too high that you need money through and go for the money. From the Saudi Pro League. By the way, speaking of the Saudi Pro League, and I'm telling you about how Man United players are unattractive. Imagine, it should be Al Ittihad in Saudi that is tabling a deal of £800,000 per week for Bernardo Silva. They want to pay him £800,000 per week. They have not flattered. No single team in the Saudi Pro League has flattered the long list of Man United flops. They also see them. They don't want them. They see them. They don't want them. So it's tough. It's interesting. It's mind-boggling, to be honest. It's mind-boggling. That's how bad some of these players are. Yet United needs to cash in on them if they are going to top up on the £120 million and make some decent signings. Guys, it's a hot situation. It's a difficult time for Manchester United. It's a very difficult time to be Erik ten Hag right now. I do wonder what you think about this whole window. But tell me your opinion about the situation concerning Fred and Scott McTominay. If it were up to you, who should leave first? Who should Man United be selling first? If it were up to you, Who should Manchester United be selling first? Is it Fred, who is 30, or Scott McTominay, who is in his mid-20s? Who do you think Manchester United should be selling first? Give me your honest opinion on that. But also make use of that WhatsApp number. No problem. Of course, I will be adding you to the list of the group of Manchester United supporters from all over the world. I've got quite a number of them. I will be adding you to that group. If you do, drop me an inbox on that number on your screen. Well, welcome again to the hotspot. In case you're just joining us, well, this is where we do get to pan you with the biggest news concerning Manchester United. And for now, as it is, there is a deadlock concerning Andre Onana and moving to United, but it will be solved. The two parties have got the will to meet halfway and ensure that a move is seen and Andre Onana becomes a Red Devil, or rather the #1 Red Devil, if I would call it that. That's the situation concerning Manchester United. My name is Webb. This is the hotspot, and well, that's a bit of the breaking news that has just come through, of course, concerning the biggest football club in the world. Of course, I'm seeing some more news coming through. Of course, like I keep doing it, I do want to keep you updated with all reports, however small or big they are. I do want to give them to you. I've just told you of how Bernardo Silva has received an offer of 930,000 euros per week. That is 800,000 pounds per week from Al Hilal for him to go and join the team. That's the offer. Those are reports. Can you imagine that even a 45-year-old Gianluigi Buffon has got an offer from a club in Saudi Arabia that is willing to pay him 15 million euros a year? Guys, Buffon, the goalkeeper, the legendary Italian goalkeeper, 45, is getting an offer from Saudi. No one is flattering Fred, Scott McTominay, Anthony Martial, Harry Maguire. Is that how bad these players are? Is that how bad these players are? Guys, think about it. If a 45-year-old who... Oh, goodness, this is painful. If a 45-year-old is getting an offer of 15 million euros a year, how on earth is no single Saudi club flattering Scott McTominay? The only Man United player flattered by a club in Saudi Arabia is, okay, he's not even a Man United player now. The only former Man United player flattered by a Saudi club is David De Gea, who is wanted by Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr, who are willing to pay him 250,000 pounds per week. He's 32. Now, a 26-year-old Scott McTominay has not attracted a single flatter from a club in Saudi Arabia, yet they know he's up for sale. But they are going for a 45-year-old goalkeeper willing to pay him 15 million euros a year. And United are still clinging on to that boy because he's an academy boy or whatever. Well, I think that shows you how low we have fallen as a club. And this shouldn't be happening to Manchester United. It's bad. It's too bad and painful to see if you're a Manchester United supporter who has been behind this club during the times when we donned this jersey, when we had the best players in the world. It is so painful to see that happening to the biggest football club in the world. Guys, that's what is happening. Well, of course, a lot going on concerning United. But let me try to predict what is likely to happen in this week. To be honest, I do think that United is going to sign players this week. I think Onana will be done before midweek. I think Onana, we shall know that Onana and Inter and Man United have agreed a fee. It's going to be agreed officially. I do believe that's going to happen before the end of this week. I do know for a fact that Mason Mount's medical is bound to happen tomorrow or Tuesday at latest. That medical is going to happen. Of course, Auma Moses, I see you saying, hey bro, how are you, brother, how are you doing? I do think, of course, the Mason Mount medical is going to happen. I also think before the the preseason begins, I think Rasmus Højlund will be in as a United player as well. So I have no worry. I have no doubt. The only thing though is the slow pace at which things are happening, because Juventus are interested in Højlund, and we know what Juventus can do. They're the biggest club in Italy, one of the biggest clubs in Italy, depending on how you look at it. And the fact that Højlund has been playing at Atalanta, it would be an honor for him to go to Juventus. So if Juventus came seriously hunting for Højlund, he could think about it. United, like I said, the project is not as attractive as it was, so Hoyland might not want to jump quickly onto that. The only advantage would be that it is believed that Christian Eriksen has spoken to Hoyland, because they are both Danish internationals. So he has spoken to him to try and convince him to join United. But if United take so much of their time, if they drag on so long, if they try to table bids on a total space, certainly they can lose out on players. There are no guarantees. United is not so far ahead of the rest of the clubs in the world, so there are no guarantees. So that's a bit of a problem. That's a bit of an issue. So, but I do think Onana, of course, Mason Mount is in, and Rasmus Højlund will be United players sooner rather than later. Now, of course, the news that came out earlier today, again concerning Mason Greenwood, is how Jose Mourinho is seriously, and I broke that news here for you weeks ago. It was first reported by The Sun. That Mason Greenwood apparently should be destined to join Jose Mourinho, that is at AS Roma. He's willing to take him on loan. So it is a serious one, and I think it's one we should be excited about. I think if there is one place Mason Greenwood can regain his fitness and form, I think it should be under Jose Mourinho. He's a parent, and he will certainly know how to manage such a player and get him focused on football and playing football. So I think it will be a good loan move for Mason Greenwood. He needs it. So we should be excited about that. Liverpool have got, of course, sorting their business quietly. Things are happening. They have just confirmed, of course, completed the signing of Dominic Szoboszlai, that is from RB Leipzig. Well, the move is subject to a work permit, but it is done. Certainly, he will get the work permit. Emmanuel Jesse, I see you. He's saying, good evening, bro. Emmanuel Jesse, yeah, for real. Yes, for real indeed. Good to see you. Thank you, of course, for coming through and joining first this live on the hotspot. I've come a bit earlier, but because I had some developing news for you, that is concerning David De Gea and Andre Onana's deadlock that has been hit by Manchester United. David De Gea has signed the contract, but it's not with Manchester United. It is with his wife now. That is Edward Garcia, the musician, actress, and television star from Spain. She's 37. De Gea is 32, 5 years older. It doesn't matter. They have been together since 2010. So there is love. They're in love. De Gea is in love. Of course, that is his real love now. United, clearly, from the way we've treated him, as he came to the evening of his start United, was not one of love. I think the love was never mutual. It was one-sided. Right now, it's business, and he's probably moving on. And Al Nassr, that is from Saudi Arabia, the same team that paid Cristiano Ronaldo world record figures, is willing to pay him £250,000 per week, probably plus a sign-on fee because he's a free agent. So he can pocket some good cash for himself. Wow, the Saudi Pro League is meaning business. And if other teams and leagues don't wake up quickly, they might be losing out on some hot players early. But let's wait and see that Man United will try to talk him through, and he stays as a number 2. Of course, another update from Mark van der Kraan, Marcel van der Kraan, that's coming through right now. Is Andre Onana is potentially costing 60 million euros, has led Ten Hag to shift his attention to the Feyenoord goalkeeper Justin Bijlo, who is worth a third of Onana in Manchester United's eyes. Well, these are reports, and like I keep saying, it's not good for us to rebuff any report, more so in a summer transfer window like this. The transfers, rumors, and speculations are always there, but it is from them that actually we get to see the real story is broken. So I think for me, the interest in Justin Bijlo does not have any impact on signing Andre Onana. I think Onana, unless United fail to agree on a fee with Inter Milan, which is highly unlikely, that's the only way they wouldn't sign him. But whether United signs Bijlo or rather they sign Onana or not, whether they're interested in Bijlo or not, I do think they will sign Onana. Bijlo, I think, is an option in the event that David De Gea refuses to stay. United need a number 2. You can't play without a number 2, and it can't be Tom Heaton. So, or Dean Henderson. I think clearly Ten Hag doesn't rate the other 2 goalkeepers. So I'm sure they will still go on and sign Jim Bijlo, because they can get him for about at most 15 million or thereabout, 15 million pounds. That's money United should afford. So it should be pocket change for United, really. So I think there's a possibility of United signing 2 goalkeepers in the event that David De Gea does refuse, and he has every right to refuse to speak to United because he's out of contract and he has clearly been mistreated. So that's where we are at. So I don't want to think that the final goalkeeper interest will have an effect on the interest United has got in Andre Onana. I don't think so. Ten Hag and Man United FC are currently playing chess on several boards regarding a keeper. Kevin Trapp is also a serious option, while the club has for long followed Diogo Costa. But just like Andre Onana, he would also cost 60 million euros. Well, the issue with Costa has been money, but Onana seems to be now taking the lead. I think Diogo Costa would even cost more than 60 million euros. So I think he would cost close to 50 or 55 million pounds, not even euros, pounds, which is a higher fee. I don't think it would cost that, but that's a bit of the situation concerning Manchester United and the goalkeeping impasse at the club. The goalkeeping impasse is giving headache to Ten Hag and everyone, but they are determined to solve it. They are determined to solve it. And as they struggle with headache, their the best goalkeeper in the Premier League and their former own goalkeeper is enjoying his honeymoon. That is David De Gea. So that's where United is at right now, guys. Thank you. This is the Hotspot. My name is Webb. I will probably be back later with more updates. For now, I think that's it. That's what I wanted to give you, a quick update concerning Manchester United and whatever has been going on, I think, so far. I think I've wrapped it up for you in case you didn't have an update of what's happening. Later on, I will be back with more. This is the Hotspot. My name is Webb. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this video on. Share the links on so that we keep growing the community. We are on the road to 2K and we'll get there together. One love for this badge. Peace.